All right, welcome back, MetaMentors, your crypto rewind and forecast. As you can see, it is the week of July 14th, halfway through summer. It's flying by. We've got 3 stories today. Mine is a little bit more extended, but it has got some hype. But first, you're going to talk about XRP. Ripple Labs is getting into tokenized real estate. They are basically revolutionizing the game with tokenization. This is a huge area I'm interested in, but we're going to flip the script and you're going to cover it this time, a little bit of real estate. We've got Solana is blowing up, and a lot of people think it's going to flip ETH here before too long. Then we got T-Swizzle and FTX, which is I don't know. I'm excited to hear about this because I can't even guess what the connection is, but it better be good. It's going to be good.
It's the duo you never knew you needed.
Like superheroes.
Sam Bankman, Swift.
Like, comment, subscribe. Let us know what questions you got so we can cover it. Let's get going.
All right, so one thing that we've talked about is the CBDCs, and XRP is one of the contenders in those programs for the central bank digital currencies. In fact, XRP or Ripple Labs, their token is called the XRP token. One of the reasons they were hit so hard so early, that's one that's been in SEC's crosshairs forever, is because they're so far advanced, because they really do have a great product. So before they unleash that onto the world, the SEC just wants to make sure that they're doing everything right. Is it a security? Is it a commodity? It's probably going to be a security, but they are still full bore. Even though a lot of the platforms like Coinbase can't list it yet, it's still growing massively. In fact, it's involved in a new pilot program. By using the CBDC platform, they're going to tokenize real estate, and they're tokenizing it for the purpose of lending. So it will obviously lead into more use cases for tokenized real estate, like being able to buy and sell it a lot quicker. But if they can tokenize your house, then you can quickly go to a bank and show proof of ownership and apply for a loan based on the assets that you own, including your bank account, your real estate. It just proves your ownership, rather than going through the long process of, getting the title and going through all that stuff. Tokenizing the real estate would make it a much quicker process. And they were talking in this article about how that will eventually lead to just being able to buy and sell or trade or exchange real properties as fast as you trade, Bitcoin and Ethereum, which would be insane if you think about it. But it's a very interesting concept because, a house is yours the way that a collectible or a small item is yours. It's the same type of thing, just a little bit more expensive. So there's a lot more paperwork that goes with it. But if you can prove it with something like the blockchain to be able to sell your house without the need of a pesky realtor or one of those annoying guys, it's like you need to fix this, you need to that everybody hates. Right. So I thought that was really cool. And XRP, like I said, they've been just getting pounded by the SEC for as long as this has been going. I mean, they were like the original one that got put in the crosshairs.
Yeah, a lot of people believe that that happened because they were way too afraid that it was going to mess. It was going to mess with the
CBDCs.
CBDCs, thank you.
Yeah.
So the U.S. government was just slowing Ripple down. Basically, they knew they couldn't stop them. This is what the experts say. They can't stop XRP, but they got to slow it down because it was coming to the market way too fast, and they were trying to buy time for the CBDCs. Very interesting. Yeah, tokenized real estate. I think this might be the biggest topic that you don't hear people talking about that is going to change everything. Obviously, I'm in real estate. I'm already seeing some of this stuff happen. And I've said before, I think it's a matter of time before mortgages are not held by banks necessarily, but you'll go to a DAO or something similar, and you'll get your financing from that, and it'll just be your loan will be tokenized across 100 people or 100,000 people, and those people will be making the interest off your mortgage payments and not a bank, and it'll be that fast. That's my expectation, my guess.
That's the best part of it, is the speed, to be able to prove the ownership, to be able to make sure there's no liens against the property, to be able to go and look back at the entire history like that, to be able to qualify for a loan from a bank or from wherever, to begin ownership of the new house, to trade ownership. You know how long it takes, and it's not just the realtor's fault, although they are a weak point in the in the process. But there's so many people you have to go through to buy or sell a house. I mean, even if you don't want to, even if it's like, just get rid of it, just give me what it's worth, it's so hard. But when you tokenize it and you're able to just turn it into a digital asset that can be, have the entire lifespan, like a Carfax for a car, just like instantly, there it is. Here's the problem. Here's this, here's that. We fix those and we're good to go. And it really could, it gets used a lot, the word revolutionize, but Ripple Labs tokenizing real estate really could revolutionize that whole industry. And it is a huge industry.
Yeah, it's an archaic industry. It's worked for all these years, but we're using the same techniques and processes we've used for 100 years.
Technology is catching up. Well, it's actually past us. So now it's time for, real estate to catch up. So that's what I got. I just, we love talking about stuff that's getting used, especially in outside of the Web3 sphere, especially real world stuff. And there's nothing more real world than real estate.
Awesome. Good stuff. Here in crypto, Ben, we like hype news. And one of the big hypes for several years now that died down after the FTX collapse is Solana versus Ethereum. Solana predicted to be the Ethereum killer. Whether that's true or not, remains to be seen. But we're going to watch some clips here that make it seem like we're really getting close to that. But the reality, I think, is that we're talking about two superior layer one blockchains. We here in America, we like the whole competition, winner takes all. There is no second place, but the reality is there's a place for multiple blockchains that do different things. And as I've gotten more into this, we're seeing that.
That's accurate. And I need to remind myself of that a lot of times, because especially when I'm thinking about investing, I think down the road, which one's going to survive, which one's going to finally win. But it doesn't have to be one or the other. I mean, there is and probably will be multiple blockchains. And so you got to think about it in those terms. You're exactly right. It's not winner take all in this business.
That came out a lot as I was getting ready for this Solana, and we're going to roll straight into just how, for a lack of better words, shit is getting real. Like, these projects are getting so strong, and we're not hearing about it because of all the craziness in the market, the bear slowdown. But I was thinking about this just earlier this week. I've been watching Bitcoin. It's time for me to buy my monthly installment. And I give myself a window to try and time it, the best deal. And so I'm watching it, and it occurred to me, I've not been in a hurry this month because it really hasn't done much. And then I realized, I was like, you know what? I've been here before, and it's like, oh, it's not doing much. I got days, and then boom, it goes way up or it goes way down if I'm lucky. But it reminded me that, yeah, it looks like nothing's going on right now, but shit is happening, and it's getting faster and faster. Anyways, so you've got this ultimate competition with Solana and Ethereum. This is just a quick article that I'll just hit some highlights that kind of paint it. So Solana and Ethereum are top smart contract platforms. Despite Solana's high speed and scalability, Ethereum outshines it with a larger community, mature ecosystem, and superior tokenomics. We know that. Ethereum is basically 5 years older than Solana. So it's got a huge advantage being the first real smart contract blockchain. Solana is a high performance blockchain platform with 266 million in total value locked, TVL, known for its speed and scalability, as where Ethereum is the first most well-known smart contract with 27 billion total value lock. So huge difference there as far as the value, which, as we're going to hear shortly, Raoul Pal talks about. That's one of the major indicators that you've got to track. But as far as of its speed, if you look down here, you've got Solana at 3,900 per second transaction rate and Ethereum at 15. That's how drastic the speed difference is. Tokenomics, Solana is inflationary. Boo. It works, but deflationary much better, which is Ethereum, which is what's got a lot of excitement about there. So this article, I'll link it, but it's a really good read. It goes into a little bit more of the detail, but I want to get straight into a couple videos by Paul Barron's network, and then Raoul Pal, an interview he did with Investanswers, because there's some crazy good content in it. So let's roll over to there. If you've been following us long enough, you know that I generally go right back to the same resources. There's 5 or 6 of them. Paul Barron Network's one of them. He's popping out content daily with updates. He's going to talk real briefly about some of the growth with Solana and some of the flipping. So check this out.
Some other things that I wanted to show, and this is probably one of the bigger ones, and I'll just highlight this right here. But blockchains by NFT sales volume. This is the first time that Solana has flipped Ethereum in terms of sales volume, and you can see it right there going up to 25 million. This gets pretty significant, I think, because when you look at the bear market as it is right now and what we're dealing with Solana and where NFTs are going, this is a very good sign for Solana. Now,
so flipping Ethereum as far as NFTs have been really quiet because of this bear market. You know, it takes a little bit of extra money to buy digital art and utility and so forth. So it's been real quiet. So we're not hearing about it, but Solana is doing it. Let's keep
That's
going.
interesting. I didn't realize that they had already done more than them on any scale. You know what I mean?
I don't think anybody's paying attention at all.
Right.
Like, I mean, that's pretty freaking wild, because you didn't hear, whenever people discussed NFTs, it was all in Ethereum based. I remember when not that long ago, I was listening in on a Twitter, one of the Twitter talks, and somebody, one of the major NFT buyers was like, who the hell is buying shit on Solana? You know, it was like completely mind blowing, but he was like, but clearly it's happening. So I need to take a look at this. And now they've surpassed them. Here we go.
Today. All right, so let's jump over to just this breakdown here on staking rewards. And you can see it right here. Solana now flipping Cardano in terms of staking market cap. So 7.58 billion now over the 6.6 billion on.
So they flipped Ethereum on NFT sales. They've now flipped Cardano on staking. So climbing up the ladder. Let's jump up here a little bit more. Here we go. Take a close look at this chart, some of these numbers here.
But the opportunity to scale. This was a piece done by Masari, kind of showing that Firedancer puts Solana in the range of Web 2. Now, that's a big statement, because Web 2 right now is running at lightning speed. All your e-commerce that you do out there, everything you buy on the internet today, that's a Web 2 environment. And those are pretty much, have you ever run into a scenario where you've waited for a transaction to approve? If you look at this chart, it shows Twitter's, will go currently, even though Elon made some changes this weekend. But this was during the World Cup final surge. Then you look at Visa right down there on the chart. So that's basically 1,700 transactions per second median, with a 65,000 transaction capacity, and then 20,000 trades per second on NASDAQ. And then right above all those is Solana and Firedancer, when Firedancer is used, going from around 6,000 to 1.2 million transactions per second, with a median at 85 to 180. So what that simply says is that we are seeing the potential here for Solana to completely supplant what maybe is going to be needed in terms of scale for transactions. So that's at the end.
So you may have caught in the beginning there, he's talking about how that speed there is equivalent to the speed that we're dealing with on Web 2 right now. You are not going to get people to adopt the technology, even if it's a superior and safer technology. They're not going to go backwards. It's like if they came out and said, you know what, turns out that dial-up internet is way safer than the internet we're using now. We're going to go ahead and go back to that.
Right.
Nobody would do that shit. They would give up the safety for that. That's essentially what he's saying here, is right now, as awesome as some of these blockchains are, Ethereum, people, it's way too slow transaction wise, especially if you have 1 billion users plus on it. It's just not going to work. Solana is looking like it's the only blockchain that can support that speed of transactions you need to go along with day-to-day life right now. So huge power play there as far as that. Now let's jump over to this video from Investanswers with probably my favorite person, Raoul Pal. Okay, we're going to start out here with Raoul kind of talking about Solana, if I remember correctly, but we're going to quickly get into, he's just going to flat out give some predictions and just talk about how all you've got to do is buy and hold to beat everybody else and just make a shit ton of money. And it's because things are getting real. It is going down. Here we go.
That's right. But for some use cases, more than adequate. For others, not adequate. I mean, that's pretty much true of every blockchain, right? There's huge trade-offs. So, and I think that's fine.
And I know you spoke recently as well about some allocations. The way I look at kind of the crypto world and crypto positions is risk and reward. I know Ethereum will outperform Bitcoin. I know Solana probably will outperform Ethereum. But the question is, how much do you allocate? And this is the debate I have in my little head every single day, especially when I see things.
So how
like
I've done this,
pricing's at it. Like one other number for you to consider is ETH market cap is 40x Solana. They got the same number of daily active users. There's something wrong with how these things are valued, or do people simply not have a clue as to how to appraise a blockchain?
So when I've done the work on this and built a Metcalfe's law model, it's number of active users, fine. But the thing that most people don't understand is what seems to give the best correlation is total value transacted in dollars. And what we find is that Bitcoin is worth more because more is exchanged in value. ETH does a lot more transactions, but they're smaller. And the Bitcoin transactions tend to be larger in size because there's a lot more institutions and that kind of stuff in the space. So what it's telling you, and I found that all of them seem to be priced accurately according to that, with a chart fit kind of thing. Therefore, it's telling you Solana has smaller transactions. Okay, that's fine. It depends what applications get built. And if it's going to be a consumer chain, which is, I think, really where its branding lies really well, then maybe it does that. But then it's going to have a lot more active users because it's a consumer-based product. So you win in there's two different ways to win in that game. But I like you think ETH outperforms Bitcoin and Solana outperforms ETH, but I won't prepare to have that. I've got the ETH bet. I don't really.
So they're already talking about how Solana is going to outperform ETH, and they're even making the prediction that ETH is going to outperform Bitcoin, which is really, really interesting. So I've become a Bitcoin maxi here over the last few months, and now this and that's where I'm staying. But the drive for Ethereum and Solana have gotten tremendously stronger just in the last couple of weeks doing this research. So let's jump up here to the next video or next portion,
etc. But that's locked away, and use that as margin to do kind of your 20% trading activities. But what advice would you say to people? Like, we're in exponential times. You covered at the very beginning, stock market divided by money supply is flat, real estate is down, but you have leverage. But these are exponential assets, and there's so few of them, and they're so scarce. So what I'm hearing from you is your advice would be hold.
I need to just find the front cover of my July GMI, which was probably the best cover. It was just 4 words that says, "Don't fuck this up." And then there was a tweet from somebody on Twitter that said, "There is a bull market staring you in the face. All you have to do to make life-changing money is buy and wait patiently. Don't fuck this up." Yeah. And then I put the bell curve of the mid-twit. On the left is the buy and hold retail investor. In the middle is no, inflation, this, recession, blah, blah, blah. And the other side is the monk with the buy and hold. So that is my advice, is you buy and hold and accumulate into these large cyclical drawdowns. and just check whether your overall thesis is right. And the overall thesis is, do we have adoption? It's the same, the same bloody thesis for Tesla as well. It's like for anything. Does it have an ongoing adoption? And is that going to continue to increase? If that's the case, forget everything else. It's all noise.
So very clearly, as Raoul Pal says, if you're watching this, you are extremely early. All you got to do is buy the picks and axes, buy the foundational pieces that, number one, have a growing active user base. Number two, have a growing total value transacted. And so you buy those, you hold them, you're going to become wealthy. And he's almost guaranteeing it. Basically, he's like, don't get squirrely about the market and everything else. Just buy and hold solid assets. And you're going to go to the moon. I got one little last clip of this. And of course, we'll be adding this video link down below. So here we go. Here's the last clip.
If it's not, it's very difficult to predict where it actually goes. But what we can say is, look, it's reasonable that Bitcoin from all-time highs doubles or triples. That's not asking a lot. That will be the worst bull market in Bitcoin's history.
But there's an interesting angle that I see, and what do they say? The most dangerous words in the investing language is "this time is different," but it is. Let me explain why. We have a decreasing supply hitting the market. We have increasing demand, and there's a record low amount on exchanges available for sale, and more hodling than ever before. Everything that you look at that's on chain, it's a perfect storm of supply crunch. I had Jamie from Bloomberg on, and back in January, and he said there will be a Bitcoin supply crunch by the end of 2023. What's your take on that? And could this time be different, where there's more than a 3x? Because we know diminishing returns, diminishing, etc.
Yeah, I think all of us need to be cautious putting out prices to people.
Yeah.
So we can all have our heads what we think, because people don't yet know how to fully take risk, because this is bringing in new market participants. So how I would look at it, and even with my own mind, is, listen, it probably triples from the all-time high, and currently it's at 30 grand. So okay, that's a 6x from here. That's pretty good. And the upside is, maybe I'm totally wrong, and it gets complete panic to the upside because of the issues you talk about. We don't know what's going to be happening in the economy in 2025. What could be driving prices. So I just think you get the upside for free.
So essentially, he's saying you can pretty much expect a 6x at minimal, a 6x from where we're at right now. So, or a 3x from all-time high, which was 60,000. So 180,000 by the end of 2024.
And he said
2025.
That would be the worst bull market in Bitcoin's history.
Yes, that would be the worst. And so it's certainly possible, and that's what he's alluding to. It could go way higher than that, which is, of course, what the host was getting at is, hey, there's declining supply. There's all this stuff going on. What's the chances that we actually see it go nuts? The ETF is coming down the line. Most people believe that's going to get past. So Raoul Pal is not one to put out very many predictions, but he clearly is telling you right there, the worst that it would be the worst bear market at a 3x of its all-time high by the end of 2024, I think it was. So again, buy and hold, and you just do it on a weekly basis, monthly basis, whatever it is. This is not financial advice. Clearly do your own research, but we're trying to put out this good content to expose some of this to whoever is lucky enough to be watching these videos and paying attention, because we are really early behind a very dominant technology and shift in everything that we know financially. So it's going to be a hell of a couple of years. We're going to be putting out some quality, action-packed videos, Ben.
You beat me to the punch when you said this is not financial. I was going to try to trick
Yeah,
you
I was getting
and say,
heavy, I know.
well, what would you suggest that people do financially? What would be your advice? And then when you said it,
Bet it all.
I was going to send it straight to YouTube and get you
Yeah.
sued. So.
Yeah, I caught myself getting a little excited myself, but just do your own research, people. Please, if you're watching this video to this point, you're clearly paying attention. You might pay a little bit more attention. I'm sure you are. Most people are smarter than me. I'm going to shut my mouth. I'm excited. That's all I got on Solana and stuff getting real in the market.
All right, now for some super up-to-date news. We all know Taylor Swift touring the country right now. It's huge. She was in Cincinnati not that long ago, Kansas City even a few days ago. So she went straight from like Ohio to Kansas, which is right on mine and Ryan's path. So I didn't make it to the concert. Did you?
No, but I feel like she came, I visited with her. I mean, she came from Ohio straight to Kansas, obviously. No, my daughter was there, but no,
Gotcha.
I did not go. My daughter was there, paid a fortune for the tickets, said best concert ever. That's what they
I
always
knew a
say.
lot of people that went. It was very big. She is the hottest thing in music, probably in pop culture in all right now.
Years now.
Yeah, well, but especially right now with this tour, it's really killing it. And it could have all been different because I don't know. Her name has only got brought up a few times with the FTX scandal because they never actually closed the deal. According to her team, they said that she didn't sign the deal. Like she did not go through because after her team looked through it, it didn't look very good. Blah, 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 blah. They backed out of it. But as it turns out now, going through all the bankruptcy proceedings with FTX, it looks like her team had a signed agreement and had sent it to Sam Bankman-Fried. It was in his inbox. She had signed off. It was a done deal. And FTX was the one that backed out of it. They just left her on red for a while. She'd probably write a song about it now that I'm thinking about it. Because
now that we've exposed it, she's going to have to.
Yeah, SBF actually did not go through and close the deal. So everything was signed and done on her side. It was for roughly $100 million to do what Tom Brady did, which is push it out. And SBF backed out. So there's a lot of theories swirling around as to what happened. A lot of people were congratulating her on her business acumen because her team said that she was curious how they were selling securities without being registered as security. And they made it sound like she was just a genius.
She had a lot of downtime traveling from shows.
Yeah,
so
but now it turns out that may not have been the case. But there is some rumor swirling around that as soon as Sam Bankman-Fried realized he might be getting close to the end of the rope, I assume this is just a rumor and this is just internet. Oh yeah, my bad. I got this up right here. They said SBF was a Swifty and he knew that the people involved were going down hard and he would not sign the paperwork because he did not. Yeah, he protected Taylor Swift and would not sign her on, even though everything up to that point was 100%. They had done their part. In fact, there were emails from Taylor Swift's team wondering what the holdup was. Of course, over the course of the month or 60, 90 days that this was going on, everything came unraveled and FTX crashed. So thankfully for Taylor Swift, she did not sign that deal. Not that it's really affecting Tom Brady at all. You hear his name brought up, but nothing's really happened to the celebrities yet. But it might have changed the Eras Tour.
I'll tell you what, I've said from the beginning, that SBF guy, he's not a bad guy. I mean, he watched out for T-Swizzle. He wasn't going to let her be drugged down in something that was happening. He's just caught a bad rap.
Well, now I just picture them down in their little private island. What was the restaurant they were always ordering from? They were always Uber Eats and food. That was like $60,000. They had a bill when they were going through the bankruptcy. They're just chilling in the office ordering. It was like from a burrito place or something. But now I just picture Taylor Swift playing in the background and they're just rocking out, having a good time. So SBF is a Swiftie. Taylor Swift dodge a bullet because she's got a fan in Mr. Sam Bankman-Fried.
Thank goodness. Gets
So.
keep her name.
Yep. Yeah. And that's what, I mean, it really does, regardless of who signed what and who didn't, the deal did not go through. And because of that, she is able to tour unfettered all summer. And she's going to make more money this summer than she would have made the $100 million deal with FTX. So congratulations to T Swift.
For her business acumen.
For her
Way to
business
go.
acumen. Yes. Yes. Very impressive.
Good stuff.
That's all I got.
That's
just end
it.
on a little high note.
Yeah, as always, exciting stuff happening in the news. So we're going to wrap here. Thanks for following. Look for us next week and let us know what we should be covering.